I think the most interesting thing has been this unprecedented access into the backstage processes of museums, and that, to be fair, it is quite a contentious conversation, and you would expect that the unilateral museum position would be one of closing doors, in, kind of rolling up the drawbridge, etc. But that being said, a whole bunch of museums have been really, really open, and we've got to understand so much more about what happens to an object behind closed doors, the sheer amount of cost in man hours, in labor, in expertise and skill, as regards even just the thought of moving an object from a store to into the museum before the object goes into exhibition. So a lot of thoughts around museum process and thinking and value systems have been really useful, even when the museums are not necessarily willing to shift on those things, but understanding where they're coming from is really, really useful for the purposes of the International Inventories Project.
What position did you have before that has shifted?
While the inventory's focus currently is objects, and that objects are useful symbols, they're tangible, the stories around them are known, some of them are not, and that they're an interesting way to begin bringing the public into this conversation. There's elements of their participation in the general colonial project that are not known. And so for me, I stepped into this project deeply interested in the idea of restituting objects, physical objects, to their people, because they were theirs, and that hasn't changed. But I'm also becoming much more interested in the object sitting in an ecosystem, of histories, in an ecosystem of plunders, in an ecosystem of the project of empire. And that goes far beyond the object. It goes into people's histories, in as far as we are able to still collect them, the fragments that have been passed down, the ones that have been deliberately erased. It goes into what the journalist Patrick Gadara calls the archives of colonialism. So in many ways, yes, the thing that has changed for me was I thought this was just about objects, but no, it's about stuff that's much bigger.